The special call meeting, zoning public hearings, Tuesday, May 11th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. The Honorable William Bill Edwards, Mayor.
Here.
The Honorable Catherine F. Rao, District 1.
Present.
The Honorable Carmelita Gums, District 2.
Present.
The Honorable Helen Z. Willis, District 3.
Present.
The Honorable Naima Gilliard, District 4. The Honorable Corey A. Reeves, District 5.
Accounted for.
The Honorable Councilmember Khalid, District 6.
Present.
The Honorable Mark Baker, District 7.
Present.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilliard, are you present? Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Okay, first item, please.
First item is agenda items for presentation and public hearing only. Number 1, AN 21-001. Council to consider an annexation of 0 Waycrest Drive and 0 Riverside Drive. This item was held on March 9th, 2021. This is located in District 1.
Okay, staff.
Greetings, Mayor and Council. This item came before you all a few months back. As you're aware, this location of this property is off of Rivercrest, and it is having a mixed use zoning, and we're moving forward with this recommendation.
Okay, is the petitioner here? I'll open the public hearing. Is the petitioner here?
Hey, good evening. This is Edric Harris, representing the partnership of the Fulton County Housing Authority and Presswood Development Company. I'm here.
Okay, so what did you want to say anything about this development?
Yes, as most of you know and recall, this is an existing development. Well, the current development is partially existing with a total of 150 units of multifamily housing targeted towards seniors. Is currently under development, and the goal is to kind of complete the annexation to move all the units into the city of South Fulton. As we know right now, half of the site is currently in and the other half is out. So the goal is to bring everything in to kind of clear all that up. And I'll just leave that from there and open up for any questions if there are any for me.
Is anyone else for this development? What about against? Anyone to speak against?
Mr. Mayor, we did not receive any comments in opposition or in support of this application.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Ms. Gums. I mean, Mr. Rao, I'm sorry, Ms. Rao.
Just wanted to get clarity. Is this necessary given that Fulton Industrial is now in the city limits of the city of South Fulton?
Great question, Councilwoman. I will defer to the city attorney as we've spoken about this earlier this week. Mr. Hyman.
Yeah, Mr. Hyman. He hasn't.
Okay, so Councilwoman, in our conversation that was had with the attorney, he feels that he would like to keep the item on the agenda just for clarity and to ensure that a decision is made on this item to finalize it, since it was already brought to the city to address.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any further comments? All right, next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next item, item 2, Z21-001. Council to consider a rezoning from Fulton County Mix MIX to South Fulton MIX for the purpose of completing AN 21-001 annexation request. This item was held on March 9th, 2021, and is located in District 1.
All right, staff.
Yes, sir. As mentioned, this property will have the same zoning as Fulton County, where it has a mixed-use recommendation. Again, staff supports this recommendation to allow for the property to be zoned mixed use.
Okay, thank you. Is the petitioner here? I'll open the public hearing. The petitioner here.
Yes, same petitioner, Edric Harris with Presswood Development, representing the partnership with the Fulton County Housing Authority. Some comments as before, and I know this was one of the concerns at the last meeting. The reason we deferred, because the plan, I think, was to potentially build multifamily developments on the remaining balance of the land that was available on the Housing Authority property, but we have since changed that to where it will be housing for older persons, 55 and older.
Okay. Anyone else to speak for? Having heard none, anyone to speak against this petition?
Mr. Mayor, we did not receive any comments in opposition or in support of this application.
All right. I will close the public hearing. Next item, please.
Next item is item Z20-008. This is council to consider a rezoning from AG1 to CUP, Community Unit Plan, for property located at 7195 Butner Road, 0 West Stubbs Road, and 3315 West Stubbs Road. This item was held on April 14th, 2021, and is located in District 2.
Okay, staff.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Mr. Clerk, do we
Hold up,
have
Nathan, please hold up. Yeah, Miss Caldwell, please put up the zoning presentation
Thank you.
first, please. This is KZ 20-008.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, for your consideration tonight, we have a rezoning at 7195 Butner, 0 West Stubbs, and 3315 West Stubbs. Next slide, please. As we know, case 08 is a proposed rezoning from AG1 to CUP for a residential subdivision. This case covers multiple parcels of property, and as we've seen in the past, when we get to the further slides, it will make a little bit more sense. You can go back, please. I'm sorry. You just go back one. Thank you. So this, along with the following case, combines and rezones 3 parcels into 2. After much discussion with the petitioner and the council members in the area, the proposals for both 08 and 9, which you will see, are in compliance with the future land use map for both zoning and density. And so you will see here a subdivision with 132 units. The staff recommendation is now for approval, and the Planning Commission recommended approval as well for this case. And we can go to the next slide. The pin drop in the center of your screen is the location of the site. As you can see, it was multiple years ago or previously, a project was started there but not finished. And so this will be a picking up of the past project and putting a new development in its place. We can go to the next slide, please. On the left, we have the future land use map for the area, showing a rural neighborhood designation. And again, I will mention for anyone listening that the density is in compliance with the land use map. And on the right, we will see the zoning map for the area. This development and proposal, both 08 and 9, covers the parcel that is highlighted in blue in the center of your screen, as well as the 2 parcels to the right of the blue outline parcel that are mostly square shaped. So it's the 3 parcels in particular that we're talking about right now. The next slide, please. And I apologize for the rotation. I want to make sure I had the picture as big as possible so that everyone could clearly see. On the lower right-hand side, towards the middle, is Butner Road. So that sort of orients the parcel for you. You see all the lots coming in. All the conditions will be discussed, I know, by the petitioner, but they are mentioned in the staff packets. And all lots will have the stagger requirement listed as 5 feet and will meet with all necessary setbacks. You'll also see that the amenity center is off of the road and back towards the center of the development. I would also like to point out the multiple access points. The point on Butner Road lines up with the subdivision across the street that was brought up by the attention of our traffic engineers, and so some adjustments were made to that. There is also an input off of an entrance of a West Stubbs. And you'll see at the top of this parcel here, or the map here, is a road that sort of leads to white space. That is a connection to the senior development that is connected, that we will be talking about on the next slide, or next case rather. These are some just renderings and old pictures that were submitted by the petitioner of example homes that could be proposed. I know some other ones will be shown to the council. And I believe this is the last slide for this presentation. Yeah, we can stop here, and that concludes the staff report for Z2008.
Is the petitioner here?
Yes, Michelle Battle with Battle Law, 1 West Court Square, Decatur, Georgia, 30030.
Go ahead on, Ms. Battle.
I would ask for my PowerPoint for the CUP to be put up, please.
Do we have Ms. Battle's PowerPoint?
Yes, Ms. Caldwell.
All right, I see it up, Ms. Battle.
Thank you. If we can actually, we can drop down to slide number 4. Great, thank you. Staff has already gone over the location, so we don't want to backtrack over information. We are extremely excited about this project. We have been working on it for quite some time to address the issues that have been raised by both the planning staff, the council member Gumps, as well as council member Gilliard and the community. This project has been now reduced. We started out at over 170 units. We are down to 132 units at 2 units per acre on the site. The units will be, the lot sizes will be a minimum of 5,500 up to anywhere from 7,000 square feet and higher in terms of the lot sizes. The minimum house sizes for the 1-story, we will have ranch homes on this site at a minimum of 2,000 square feet, along with 2-story at a minimum of 2,400 square feet. All of the new homeowners will be offered the opportunity to have additions onto their properties, which will allow for higher square footage in terms of additional amenities that they can add to their homes. The initial list price will be between $300 and $325 for the ranch homes, and between $350 and $375 on the 2-story homes. We do believe, however, that as development continues, if this project is approved, because we don't anticipate these homes being developed until sometime in 2022, that we will probably be looking at higher price points as material costs and other things continue to rise. We certainly expect that the values on these homes will continue to rise as well. And so we believe we'll be somewhere probably in the low 400s by the time we get to that point in time. We do agree to the stagger that is required, and you've seen the setbacks and the like. We do have the access of Butner Road, and you will see that we do have a clubhouse, a pool area. We have outdoor activity space and walking trails that will be located throughout. We are abiding by the 50-foot buffer around the perimeter that is required in connection with the Cliftondale Overlay District. And we have been able to speak with the transportation department and have worked to try and address the issues that have been raised by them as well. We go to the next slide. You simply will see a little closer up picture of the same concept plan. When we go to slide number 6, we begin to see some of the additional elevation options that we're looking at. One of the things that you will see in our conditions is that we are looking at doing a brick water table around the base of all of the homes. They will be offered full brick fronts as well as 3 and 4 sided brick. But the primary intent here is to do a more craftsman style home, which is a very popular style currently in the market. If we can go to the next 2 slides, you will see that as well in terms of some of the projects that have been developed by Proterra. We can continue through. You'll see some of the interior elevations, and you can just slide through those. 10, 11. You can see we're looking at a very nice product. And when we get to slide 13, in terms of the conditions that we are proposing, again, no more than 132 homes. We have the minimum square footages here for the units. There will be an internal sidewalk on both sides of the street that will connect into the public sidewalk system that will also be installed along the perimeter of the site on Butner and West Stubbs. The recreational area, again, we are installing both the swimming pool, the clubhouse, walking trails, and the outdoor activity space. The amenity areas will have to be developed prior to the recording of the final plat. We also put in to make it clear about the undisturbed buffer. We can go to the next slide. That no lot will be allowed direct access from Butner Road. All the units will have 2-car garages. Again, with the exterior facades, it'll be a combination of hardy plank, brick, stone, stuck, fiber, cementation shingles, board and batten, and other masonry materials with a brick water table on all 4 sides. The use of vinyl and aluminum siding will be strictly prohibited except for architectural trim, soffits, and other similar details. All undisturbed buffers in the rec areas will be owned and maintained by the Mandatory Homeowners Association. And there will be subdivision monument signage along the entrance at West Stubbs and landscaped as well. There have been many discussions, and we can go to the next slide, concerning home values. We did have Marlon Day with Quest Valuation Advisors do some work for us to get some idea of what the price points in the area should be. You can go to the next slide. He looked at a number of communities with new construction, Kings Island, Camden Manor, Retreat at Sierra, Wolf Creek, Union Crossing, Walden Park. When we go to the next slide, you will see appreciation comparisons here with looking at some home sales where homes were purchased back in 2005 and what those homes sold for in 2020. Notice there are a number of different homes in different communities that we have placed here. Some sold for more and some sold for less, quite honestly. When we go to the next slide, you will also see that he looked at 10 closed sales. There were some questions about Walden Park in particular. Sales price ranging from $384,990 to $464,538. With the average lot size at 17,000, the typical home sizes we looked at here. But if you look at the absorption rate, it was only 0.47 homes per month, which is pretty low, and not preferably what developers like to see, basically selling less than 1 home a month. If we can go to the next slide. You will see, however, that of the 489 closings within the past 24 months, 11 of those were at above 500, and those homes actually stayed on the market about 6 months was the average number of days on the market, whereas homes sold between 250 and 500 had about a 1-month average day on the market, which is appreciably better and allows for us to avoid some of the pipe farms that we have experienced in the past. We believe that the price points, there were much discussion about whether we should be looking at homes at 500,000 or above, but you can see this is the reason why you're seeing a lot of people staying in that 350 to 400 or so, 450 price point. It's because those are the homes that are selling. That is what the market is asking for. There is no question that currently in this market, there is a lack of lots everywhere. There is a lack of lots, and most of these builders are trying their best to put out new product and to get new lots so that new homeowners can come into these communities. We believe this is a great project, and we look forward to continuing to work with Councilmember Gumps on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Battle. Anyone else for? Do we have anyone against, Mr. Clerk? Mr. Clerk? Is the clerk there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, do we have anyone against?
Yes, we received one comment in opposition to the case from Michael Shapey, who lives on Hobgood Road in District 4. And he states he opposes CUP designations and supports a development moratorium. End of comments.
Okay. That's the only comment negative. I'll close the public hearing. Ms. Gomes?
Yes, just so we are aware, I do believe this comes back up on our next meeting, but the Cliftondale Community Association wants to, I guess, review it one more time per my request, just to make sure that we are getting the information out to the community. There were some concerns that they still had in regards to the project. I'm glad we've made it this far. But I do believe that Ms. Battle and Mr. Reed from the Cliftondale Community Association are trying to schedule that meeting for Cliftondale and the community. So that is my understanding. I don't know, Ms. Battle, were you able to schedule that meeting?
I did reach back out to Mr. Reed, and we are trying to see if we can get something set up for this week, next week at the very latest, so that meeting can occur prior to the next city council meeting.
That's my only comments, Mayor.
Okay, two comments from me, directed basically to staff. One being, I'm concerned as we go forward, as we look at these zonings, if you look at the site plan for this development, there's one long corridor that starts from the back of the development, from the front all the way to the back. I would like to see if as we go forward in zoning, that we put some type of traffic calming device in there somewhere, because if you don't, you're gonna create an Autobahn, and that's not what you want to do. Secondly, is there a requirement for trees in the yard?
That is not a requirement that we have, sir, no, but we could list something like that in a condition.
Yeah, before, I think Naeem and I know this, that because I know where we live, everybody got a tree. Am I right, Councilwoman? Gilliard? She may not be there. But anyway.
Most of them.
Yeah, I think that we need to start, those two things, I think we need to start looking at. I think we got down to understanding that we're serious about the staggered 5-foot setback. But I just think we need to look at this traffic within the zone that create what I call Autobahns. I think we need some kind of traffic calming devices or something like that. I'm not saying you got to do it now or whatever, and then look at the tree in every yard there. All right.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Edwards, we'd be more than happy to have a condition that we will have a tree in the front yard. That's pretty standard fare, and we can look at whether or not with the traffic calming, whether they want speed humps or something of that nature, and we can speak with your transportation department about that and try and address that.
I would love it if you would do that. Thank you so much.
And then also too, just to add, it is a special tree to put in the yard, not just the standard ones, because some of the ones that have been put in some of these existing subdivisions actually don't allow the grass to grow because it overshadows it.
Too big.
Yeah, or it's too big. So
I would suggest
get the right tree.
I would suggest they get with Stanley, our arborist, and he might recommend something to them.
I will get in touch with him. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next item, please.
Next item is item 4, Z20-009. Council to consider a rezoning request from AG1 to S8 Senior Housing for property located at 7195 Butner Road, 0 West Stubbs Road, and 3315 West Stubbs Road. This item was held on April 14, 2021, and is located in District 2.
Staff?
Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, this case has a concurrent variance. Would you want to introduce that so I could present them both at the same time so that I could just run through them?
Mr. Mayor, is that allowable?
I think that'd be fine.
Okay. The concurrent variance is CV20-001. Council to consider a concurrent variance on the senior age requirement from 62 to 55 years of age. This is companion legislation with Z20-009. This also was held on April 14, 2021, and is located in District 2.
All right, go ahead, staff.
Thank you so much. As everyone will see, this is a case that goes in conjunction with the previous case. Both the text and the site plan will demonstrate that very clearly. Here we are rezoning from AG1 to SH for a senior living development. After a lot of negotiation and redesigning, and I remember talking about this case back in November and December through different site plans, but now it will all be single family cottage style residence. As you'll see, along with the previous case, it's 3 parcels into 2. The proposal is now in compliance with the future land use map. The density is down to 70 single units. Staff recommendation is for approval. Planning Commission recommended denial when it came up at its meeting. We can go to the next slide, please. Same parcel or same location as before. It will just be at the front of the parcel on Butner Road. We can go to the next slide. And again, the same maps, the parcel outlined in blue and the 2 parcels to the right that are mostly square shaped. Next slide, please. Here's the site plan. And Michelle, I apologize for the amount of black that came when I had to turn the PDF into a JPEG for this slide. I assured Mayor and Council and all of the community listening that there is not that much whatever it would be that would cause the site plan to look like this. That's just a technical hiccup that happened. But you'll see the single entrance off Butner Road, all single family lots with the amenity package in the back. The road in the upper right hand of this plan here connects to the CUP, the subdivision that would be directly behind it and wrapping around it. You can see on the left, some of those lots would back up to a wooded space nearby the senior homes here. And we can go to the next slide. These are some preliminary renderings that came in of the cottage style homes, all single story, single family units with garages. Next slide, please. And we'll go to CV 20-001. This is the concurrent variance for the senior housing. We can go to the next slide, please. What they're asking for is a variance in the allowable age of senior housing from 62, changing it to 55. This is a trend in this type of housing. And from a staff perspective, we have been asked this every time we get senior housing proposals. This is a question that is usually asked with it. What is the age? And can we do a 55 instead of a 62? This would allow for a more dynamic environment in that you may still have people who are working and may have, they may be more mobile. So you may not have just seniors staying at home or just retired people. You could have people going to work and with different structures of family visiting and staying with them. Staff recommendation here is for approval, and the Planning Commission again recommended denial in this case. And that concludes the staff report. I'll open up the public hearing. Petitioner, go right ahead.
Michelle Battle with Battle Law, 1 West Court Square, Decatur, Georgia, 30030. If I could have my PowerPoint.
One moment, Ms. Caldwell is getting, here we go.
Okay, great, thank you. We can go to the next slide. Again, as staff indicated, where the site is located. On the next slide, you will see again the overall concept for the project. We worked extremely hard. We started this project with multiple unit types, including a 3 or 4 story building. All of that was poo-pooed by the community and to some extent by some of the council members. And so we tried to come up with a design that we felt reflected what the desires were of the surrounding community. And as such, we settled in on all cottage homes. Those homes will be both 1 and 2 story homes. This will be an age restricted community. Anyone that is under the age of 55 would not be allowed to live in this community. There would be restrictive covenants on the property that would ensure that also mimic the requirements under the SH zoning district regulations. We looked at very hard what the amenities would be, and we've added a community clubhouse, the bocce ball court, the outdoor activity space, walking trail, and a dog park. The community clubhouse will have a theater on the interior, as well as other gathering and meeting space for the residents that will be living within this community, and that will be exclusively their community area. We can go to the next slide. Oh, sorry. One last thing. Go back one slide. I apologize. In terms of the price points on the homes, the one-story homes will be 290,000 square feet up to 325, and then the two-story homes will be 350 to 375. One comment that I did want to make, and I believe someone just mentioned that Planning Commission recommended denial. That denial actually came before we made these changes to the plan, so that we would have fully cottage style homes. And so we would ask you to make that consideration as you consider this application. We can go to the next slide. Again, you will see the connection into the adjacent community. These communities, we believe, make sense in terms of their proximity to each other. It may be very possible and hopeful that some of the people who live in the CUP may have parents that will come, don't want to live with their children, but do want to live nearby. And so that gives them that option. We do have the one entrance point off of Butner Road with the appropriate accesses into the community, with both the decel lane going into the community and the appropriate lining up with the community across the street. We do have street trees and landscaping that will be along in the front, and we can also make sure that we have the tree in the front yard as well. We can go to the next slide. We have actually updated our styles for the homes, and what you're seeing here and on the next few slides are the different elevations that we are now proposed. We really tried to make it a much more upscale and modern look to the community as well. We believe this will be a beautiful community, and we propose the following conditions. As previously stated, very similar to what we had before. These units, again, we would have no more than 70. You see here the ranch style would be at 1,600 square feet. The minimum two-story would be at 2,700 square feet. The units will be 100% occupied by those who are 55 and up, and there will be covenants and declarations that will ensure that happens, as well as being in compliance with the zoning district regulations. The community will have internal sidewalks. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little distracted by the text messages here. The community shall have internal sidewalks on both sides of the street, and the system will connect into the public sidewalk. The amenity areas will be developed prior to the final plat. We do have the undisturbed buffer being maintained along Butner Road. And I think we got the next slide. No more than one entrance on Butner Road. No lot shall have access from Butner Road. Same with the two-car garages for each unit. Same with regards to the exterior on the Hardy plank. The undisturbed buffer in the rec areas and everything will be owned by the mandatory HOA, and we will have our monument sign on the Butner Road side. We think that this is a transformative project for this area. Senior housing, many confuse and think that has to be located near senior centers and things of that nature. But the truth of the matter is many seniors want to remain within the interior of communities. We have a lot of folks who are coming from out of town who are looking to move into this area. It's a beautiful area. It's near the airport. We believe that those who are 55 and up will have a wonderful opportunity to be within this community. And we are very excited about this project and hope that you are the same. With that, we will answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Anyone else for this project? Hearing none, anybody against?
Yes, sir. We did receive one comment in opposition to this case from Michael Venable, who lives on Montilly Circle in District 6. He states, CV 20-001, I am speaking to request you deny the variant CV 20-001. For the record, zoning variances are exceptions to zoning ordinance. Zoning variances should be granted only when a property owner would have a unique and unusual hardship created by the physical characteristics of the land. Granting variances just because a likely developer acts quickly undoes all good community development work citizens and government have been doing for years. The age change from 62 to 55 years of age is an ordinance change and not appropriate for this venue. This variance only seeks to exploit the density regulations. If you are a CUP unit and you are not 62, buy your home across the way, literally, as the CUP is essentially one development. Those seniors who are fortunate to be economically stable and want space will buy in the unrestricted CUP area anyway. All residents will be using the same amenities, paying the same fees, and be a part of the same HOA. Those 55 years of age are still working, raising high school and college age offspring, and negotiating the daily grind, and might have no commonality to typical retirees and older age groups. By approving this variance, you compromise the entire city, especially in suburban areas like Old National, Cascade, Red Oak, and FIB, where speculators perceive community weaknesses, circumventing regulations to increase personal profit while pretending to be socially conscious and working to revitalize the community. From your initial training a while back, the applicant must show a hardship for a variance. This is only a personal request. You're making any unwanted action convenient for any applicant without proper policy and legal cause borders on corruption. This is no extenuating circumstance and zero harm shown, and thus, by policy, this variance should be denied. Your question to the applicant and to staff, what is the hardship? End of comment.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing. I have one question, Michelle. Michelle,
Yes, sir.
on 001,
Yes, sir.
as I look at the, is that a zero lot line?
For the units, for the homes that are going to be built, no, they all have setbacks.
The senior portion.
They all have setbacks. It won't be zero lot line now.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Ms. Gilliard, I saw your name up here, then it went away.
Yeah, I changed my mind.
Okay, then I just want to make sure I acknowledge you. Okay. All right. Next item, please.
Next item is item 6, M21-003. Council to consider a modification at 0 Boat Rock Road in the rear for the purpose of constructing senior apartments and to modify the conceptual site plan. This item was held on April 14, 2021 and is located in District 1.
Staff.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, much like the last case, there's a concurrent variance with this one. Would it be all right if we ran them together?
I think we can do that, Mr. Clerk.
Okay. This also the concurrent variance is CV 21-001. Council to consider concurrent variances to case M21-003 to build beyond the Sandtown overlay height limit to allow for a retention pond in an undisturbed buffer and to reduce the number of parking islands. This item was held on April 14, 2021 and is located in District 1.
Thank you very much. The petition here is asking for 2 modifications to the existing zoning. I would also say that when you look at the map, the address of 0 Boat Rock Road does not necessarily correspond to where this parcel is, but it is the correct address per the tax records, but it will be clear when we see it. The first modification is to replace the condition for a 75-bed assisted living facility with a 210-unit senior apartment complex. And the second is to update the conceptual site plan accordingly. The property is already appropriately zoned mixed use, and staff recommendation here is for approval of these modifications. We can go to the next slide. So the parcel that we're looking at is directly in the center of the screen. So the pin wouldn't drop because there is no 0 Boat Rock Road rear address in Google Maps, but it is the triangular parcel in the center of the screen. We can go to the next slide, please. You can see it outlined in blue on both of these. On the left is a land use map showing compliance with the proposal and with the current zoning. And on the right, you can see that it's currently zoned mixed use. Many of the apartments and townhomes are already built all around it. So there are just 2 large out parcels left in this original development. We can go to the next slide, please. This is a picture of the original conceptual site plan. What I can tell you is that it was not developed to look exactly like this. And so even though we have a clear conceptual site plan in front of us, it does not look, there's been a lot of changes along the way over the course of time. This development was laid out many years ago, but we are generally looking in the area of letter F on the left-hand side of the screen is where we would be talking about. We can go to the next slide, please. So here we have on our screen the new proposed conceptual site plan showing 2 senior apartment buildings with parking wrapping around both buildings. The topic of the amenities are listed, suggested amenities are listed in the staff report, but those have been a topic of discussion with the community. You will see in the lower left of the screen the area of the proposed stormwater, which is the subject of one of the variances that we will talk about in just a minute. We can go to the next slide, please. These are pictures, not computer renderings of the proposal at the current location, but pictures of past projects that the applicant developer has done, just to show the type of buildings that they have done in the past and what would be similarly placed in South Fulton. We can go to the next slide, please. This is an actual computer rendering that they will send in of what they are proposing for the site in South Fulton. Obviously, there are some overlay requirements here that they would be in compliance with. We can go to the next slide, please. Concurrent variance 2101 for the same parcels. We can go to the next slide. The petition here is asking for several variances. The first one is to allow a 4-story building up from 3, to allow for the stormwater retention to be built in the setback and buffer area, and to allow for a parking shade island every 10 spaces up from 5. Staff recommends approval on the height and retention variances and denial on the parking island variances. What I can say is that in regard to the height, 4 stories is not an unreasonable request here, and it would be necessary for the financial viability of this project. The other one that we're recommending approval for is the variance for the stormwater to be in the setback and buffer area. In this situation, the setback and buffer are located directly next to a floodplain. And so having the stormwater there would not place it adjacent to any other development or any other area of any disturbance in any capacity. So there's a large area that will always be undisturbed. And regarding the parking island variance, staff feels, number one, that the parking could be either reconfigured, the parking could be put in a different area of the proposal, or that the applicant could ask for a variance on the amount of parking rather than asking to reduce the amount of green space and shade in the parking of this proposal. And you can see here on your screen just the same site plan that we had before. And I believe that concludes our presentation. Yes, that is the end of that step of that presentation.
Petitioner here.
Yes, Cassius Cole. Thank you for allowing us to present this project to the city of South Fulton. I am a resident of the city of South Fulton, probably about 1.5 miles from the actual site that we're proposing to develop this project on. First of all, we're not doing 210 units in one phase. We're proposing 150 units and then 70 units. The biggest issue with the city of South Fulton right now, there is a low amount of market rate apartments for seniors. There are several tax credit deals in the area, but none address the market for seniors. to prove that point, we had to go almost 15 miles just to find a comp to compare and try to get a comparable rent structure for our models. We're proposing 97 one-bedroom apartments, average size 820 square feet, and the price point is around $1,400, and 53 two-bedroom apartments averaging around 1,000 square feet at an average of $1,625. The total project cost is around $30 to $32 million. Unfortunately, it keeps moving because of lumber and other materials that are rising every day. The biggest question that I've received from most of the community is amenities. What we've already settled on is a salon and barbershop, computer lab, fitness room, theater, outdoor kitchen, walking trails, gazebo or pavilion, community garden, dog park. What's still in question right now is a water feature. We're considering a lap pool. We're having a little trouble doing a full-size pool on the site, which is really the main reason we're asking for one of these variances, because the topo on this site is pretty rough. So we cannot use the entire site for development. But we will feature some type of water feature, but we want to get more input from the community to really address what they would like. In addition to that, the last thing that was most important here was the height, and I think Nathan addressed that. We're going to be doing flat roofs, so that will eliminate some of the issues that I've heard from some of the community. So we're not going to do a pitch roof. That should help with some of the discussion around the roof size. Any questions from anyone? I think I can answer anything. I've given the addresses of some of the projects that we have in the area, and hopefully some of the people had an opportunity to visit them.
Okay, anyone else for the presentation? Anyone against, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, we did not receive any comments in opposition or in support of these applications.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. I have Councilmember Rao and Councilmember Khalid.
Thank you, Mayor. I know you said you've had some conversations. Are there any follow-up meetings scheduled relative to the amenities? And has the community seen the final elevation on the building? Because that looks different than the renderings.
So the final elevation, once again, it will be, the flat roofs, number one, but we have not settled on that final elevation just yet. Now we can, we think it's going to be pretty close to what I presented, which is our Mableton project.
Okay.
And that's a 3-4 split, by the way. So you will have to really look at one part of that building to actually determine what that elevation is. But I will have the civil engineer get that out, before this is voted on. But I can assure you that the elevation, we're not going to the extreme of a 4-story building, because we're not doing steel construction, basic 8-foot ceilings with, another foot or so. So you're talking about 10 feet per story. So we will not exceed that amount.
And I have a question of the staff. I know they said mixed use, but I know one of the general concerns where the community was about it staying senior housing. Since this is a rezoning, why didn't the staff recommend senior housing versus mixed use?
Ma'am, the property is already zoned mixed use, and so senior housing would be an allowed option to put into mixed use. They're asking for a modification from an assisted facility to senior apartments.
Right. I'm just saying, but I know the zoning code has specific requirements for senior housing, and this is a senior housing. I understand it's allowed in mixed use, but will they have to, I guess what I'm saying, in the future, it could become something else, correct? Because of the mixed use designation and not just senior housing.
I suppose that's technically correct. You could always put a condition that it would remain senior housing.
Yeah, I would be interested in that.
And we would be fine with that, Councilwoman.
I don't have any other questions, but would like to see just some final feedback from the community on the amenities and the elevation.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr.
Thank
Khalid?
Hey, thank you so much. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes.
All right. Just thinking as I drove home today from the council meeting and see all of these gas lines. We did pass an ordinance requiring electric vehicle parking spaces for developments that had so many parking spaces. I'm just wondering, would this fit that requirement?
Yes.
Yeah, it would have to be in compliance with any of our parking requirements. That's correct.
And I will piggyback off of that. We're doing another project not too far, and we are putting in. I got to go back and look at the per space.
That would be wonderful, I'm sure. For
Who was speaking? They got garbled.
I think Councilmember Khalid may have had just a connection issue.
Mr. Khalid,
no, that's I think Mr. Cole is speaking now. He was explaining that I guess that they have done that someplace else.
Did you understand, Mr. Khalid?
Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to him, but it sounds like he's amenable to that anyway,
Yeah.
and that they're already doing that.
Yeah.
I just think, yes. Can you
I think
hear
you're
me?
right. I think you're right, Mr. Khalid.
It sounds like he's amenable to doing that, and it's it's something vigilant about going forward. We can see that gas security is going to be a thing.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay. I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Staff, did you say undisturbed buffer? Staff.
Yes, that's what they're asking to
Well,
put
that's not truly true, is it? Because you're going to disturb the buffer to put the detention pond. And so I didn't quite understand your rationale for encroaching upon the buffer with the detention pond. Could you explain that to me?
Sure. The buffer would be disturbed only for whatever construction would be necessary to place the pond there. And then obviously it would be a passive use there. And also the proposed placement of the retention pond is next to a floodplain. And so there's no other development or no disturbance that would be anywhere near where the proposed retention would be. And so the buffer is actually buffering from the floodplain and from a large unbuildable area, not from any other type of development.
Go back to passive use. What'd you say about a passive use?
Well, there would be no activity ever taking place in the retention. It would just be there.
All right. Now here's something that really kind of sticks to me pretty bad, guys. Flat roof, who does that? I haven't seen a flat roof in years, and I can tell you time after time. When I was a commissioner, we did senior centers and we put flat roofs on them. And we have to go back and pitch the roof. And I noticed that in your renderings, your examples, those roofs were pitched. Water gonna seek its own level over the years. And so why would we put a flat roof on this particular facility?
The only reason, Mayor, was to address the height issue, to be quite frank.
Well, I don't think that's a good reason, because I'm going to tell you, you're going to have problems if you put a flat roof on that facility, and you know as well as I know, you're going to have a problem over the years. There's nowhere for that water to go. There's nowhere for it to go.
Yes.
Water seeks its own level, and you're going to have roof problems.
So over the years, Mayor, that has been a problem. You're absolutely right. We have a community where you can see it deteriorating on the side of the building.
Right.
And that, I think it was built back in probably around 1990. So there have been major improvements to get this water to flow properly. We did a project down in Vine City. We have not had any issues with that. Now it's only 3 years old, but we've had a hell of a lot of rain.
You're not going to have it at 3.
I'm sorry, sir.
I said you're not going to have it at 3 years old.
Right. I know it's typically an issue you see, down the road, but maybe what I could do to kind of help this conversation is at least give some examples of how they're doing these roofs now, because they're all over the place, to be quite frank. And it's because they've figured out a way to get this water to flow properly.
It's only one design for a flat roof, and that's a flat roof. And staff, I'm going to tell you, anytime you bring a flat roof somewhere, especially for me, I'm going to question why you're bringing it, because we just don't do that no more, guys. You got to have, those roofs need to be pitched in some kind of way. It ain't got to be a high pitch or whatever the case may be, but a flat roof is ridiculous.
And we're not married to it, sir. So
okay, well, let me divorce you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Let me divorce you from it now, because that is not going to be acceptable on my particular case. And I will talk to Ms. Rowell about it, and she just sent in a chat on the chat.
That's not a problem.
We need to pitch the roof, and when you come back. Now, lastly,
yes, sir.
I talked to you guys about renderings, right? Staff. And we want to show the renderings, okay?
Yes, sir.
But I think when it comes down to apartments or things like this, the problem that we have and the white people get away from apartments because we don't put any quality on the inside. And I like to see some quality. I like to see a rendering of what it looked like inside. Are you going to have wood floors? Are you going to have marble countertops? Are you going to have all this stuff? Because some of the apartments that I've seen are just basic, and I would rather see some quality in what we do.
Mr. Mayor, if I can share my screen, we've won awards for our developments because of the reason you just mentioned. And interiors are, we just we don't take any shortcuts. And that's why even our tax credit deals, we always have to get a cost waiver because we believe in doing high quality finishes on all our properties. And I can share that with you if I can share my screen, or just send the PowerPoint to you.
Well, send it to me, because I know another project that Miss Rao had. It showed inside and everything. It was wonderful. So I think we need, especially in apartments like this, we need to see what the interior kind of looks like. That's all that I have.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right. Ms. Rowell, I see you on the queue.
Yes, I think it would be beneficial. It's not just about us seeing, for the benefit of the public. I think it would be helpful to show the interiors.
Okay, you have the interiors now?
Yes, I can.
Why don't you show us some of the interiors?
Sure.
Ms. Rowell, what do you think about the pitched roof idea?
I totally concur and put it in the chat before you said it.
Yeah, you did. You did. You and Mr. Khalid said it. Go ahead and put the interiors in.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let me scroll down. This is a current project. And I'll remind you, this is a tax credit project, which we have cost limits on what we can do. So it would be even a step above what you're seeing on your screen. This is our theater room.
Okay.
The computer lab and reading room. Fitness, barbershop. That's the lobby. As you can see, very nice furniture, and very nice design.
What about the room? What about the residential property itself?
So this is the interior, sir, that you're looking at.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah.
Yes, yes, this is a 1 bedroom, and then I just throw some side, there's a bedroom, there's a living room, bathroom, very, very nice finishes, and this is a tax credit deal, so it would be even better than what you're seeing on your screen.
Got you. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Ms. Rao, you have anything else?
No, if those concerns are addressed before we come for a final vote, I'll be okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk,
Mr. Mayor, can I just ask one more quick question?
go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, you can ask it.
All right, these are, I heard you say these are tax credit units. Are they 100% tax credit units, or is there a certain portion that are tax credit and a certain portion that are market rate?
Now, we're not doing any tax credit on this project. What I was showing you was a project that is tax
Yeah.
credit.
Okay,
But this would be 100% market rate.
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Clerk?
Yeah, next item is item 8. This is item Z21-002. Council to consider rezoning at 0 Campbell Drive for the purpose of building a warehouse. This is located in District 3.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you. For Z21-002, the petitioner sent in a request for a deferral to the July 14th meeting, and I would ask that the council accept that request for a deferral.
Yes, I mean, I'm going to make a motion. Well, we don't have to make a motion to do that today because this is just a work session. I do have some questions I do want to ask.
About the Campbell Drive thing?
Excuse me?
About the Campbell Drive?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Willis.
It was worded that this is for a warehouse project in District 3. Mr. Nathan, is this warehouse being built in our city or is it being built in East Point?
So a small portion of one of the buildings would be in the city of South Fulton, but 85% of this development is in the city of East Point.
Okay, thank you. I just want that to be put on the record because the narrative has been put out that this is actually a development in the city of South Fulton. Is it true or is it not that regardless of whether or not this is going to be approved or not, this is going to happen?
Well, I am not Nostradamus, but I will say that the East Point Council is voting on this and are moving forward. And so, you know, if the city of South Fulton would not move forward with this, I would have to assume it would move forward, but maybe in a slightly amended site plan form. But the East Point Council is moving forward with a motion on this project, yes.
Is it true or is it not true that our okay, I'll save the rest because we deferred this. I will say, Mrs. Sadler Jones, I would like to direct some concerns to you, if possible. Thank you, Nathan. I really appreciate you working with me on this project. I would say that we have been working consistently on this project since last June because we don't want any impact to the residents where this development is going to take place. We have worked hard to make sure that there is an over 50-foot buffer. We have worked hard to make sure there are no commercial trucks that's going to roam behind the community. I want to give kudos to East Point because unlike another municipality, East Point is very conscientious about making sure that they do not put warehouse development in places that's going to impact residents' quality of life. They have been diligently calling me, diligently making sure that I was fine with everything. They are agreeable to putting certain conditions in place to ensure that the quality of life of residents in the city of South Fulton is not impacted. And I really do appreciate that. But Ms. Sally Jones, I just want to put on record that I am hearing and getting more updates from the developer than I am from my own internal staff. And we met in March with staff, and what was supposed to happen is staff was supposed to go back, work with the developer, work with East Point to ensure certain conditions were put in place, get back with me, and I didn't get anything from the staff. I get updates from the developer, and I think it should be vice versa. And so I'm a little bothered for the lack of communication that I am getting as a council member who represents the district. Thank you.
Let's move on. This is a hearing. So let's move on, Mr. Clerk.
This is a hearing,
Yes,
and this is
Mr. Mayor.
concerning the development.
deferred.
Mayor, this is a hearing. It is concerning
Ms. Willis, it's
it's
deferred.
concerning development in my district, and I address the concern where it needs to be addressed to the city manager, so that when it does come back, we make sure that these concerns are not concerns anymore.
It's been deferred. Okay, Mr. Clerk, what do we have?
I was going to say the developer is in the meeting, Ms. Laura Clayton, the attorney, as well as there is a resident who signed up to speak on this item.
It's been deferred. Mr. Clerk.
Okay, there are no further zoning items. The only item remaining is executive session if needed.
Hearing none, I accept the motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I have a
I move
question.
that we adjourn.
Second.
Properly moved and second in discussion, Ms. Willis.
Yes. So when something is deferred, are you saying that we are not supposed to talk about it at all? I'm just asking a question.
I'm just saying that I don't think extensive conversation is worth hearing, and it's gonna be deferred to the next meeting where you'll have ample time to say what you got to say. All right. That's any more discussion?
Yes, I'm still discussing. I understand how you feel, but I'm asking, is there any rule that says that we can't discuss anything when something has been deferred?
I don't think there are. Mr. Adams, do you know of any rules?
I'm not aware of a rule. I'll have to defer to the parliamentarian.
Parliamentarian, do you know of any rules?
No, as the chair, you can make a decision. You can make a decision as to the hear it or not hear it.
Exactly. That's where I was coming from. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Willis?
Yeah. So as the chair, he can make that decision. But is it true? I'm asking a question to the attorney, if you will allow me, Mayor. As the chair, he can make that decision. You're saying to not hear anything concerning the case, but isn't it true, according to parliamentary procedures, that the chair can be overruled?
As to this matter, it's being deferred, and basically, it's not up for debate at this time. He's indicating that the substance of your motion that you want to debate is going to be on another hearing. And so there's nothing really to debate at this time because you don't have an item that you're going to be debating.
I understand. My question to you is the concerns I put on the record. I would
order.
Yeah, we have a motion on the floor.
You have, excuse me, everybody. You're right. We have a motion on the floor. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, sir.
Give me a roll call.
So roll call vote, a motion by Councilmember Rao, second by Councilmember Khalid to adjourn the meeting. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gomes.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilliard.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That motion was approved and the meeting is adjourned at 7:08 p.m.
Thank you to everybody.